Good morning, everybody. I'm Eric Hopkins, and welcome to Bible Forensics. Welcome to day 2 of a 2-part Bible Forensics study on Sarah's secret workout. That's why I got my workout clothes on, because we're working out, getting our spirits in shape to go in there and possess the land that God has for us. Listen, we've been talking about Sarah. Sarah was old, Abraham was old, and she received, according to Hebrews 11:11, she received strength to conceive. And when she first heard about her promise from God in Genesis 18, she didn't have the strength. She didn't judge him faithful. She laughed at God. Can you imagine laughing at? See, that's why I'm not God. You laugh at me, it's over. I'm like wiping your eyebrows out. Right? You have no teeth. You can't talk. Don't laugh again. You understand what I'm saying? But God was graceful. He gave her a year to get strong enough, not to deliver, but to conceive, to give conception, to buy into a concept. There's a new concept for you for life. There's a new way of living. There's a new way of doing business. You don't have to worry about your car getting repoed. You don't have to worry about some of you being depressed. You may have the car or the house, but you can't even go home without worrying about being depressed because another argument is going to break out or more bad news is going to come forth. There is a new concept of life. That's who Jesus is. He is God's new concept whereby Mary conceived a child. Behold, hail Mary, thou art blessed and highly favored. You are with child. You are with a new conception, a new concept. Jesus was a new concept, a new testament, a new way of thinking. And when God sends you a word, he gives you a new concept. But Sarah didn't have enough strength to conceive. And some of you don't have enough strength to conceive that life can be better. Life can be different. He said, I came that you may have life and have it more abundantly. But are you strong enough to believe and strong enough to conceive? And Sarah had to go through a year. And the question is, what happened in Sarah's year that helped her to gain strength? And that's what we're talking about in Sarah's secret workout. That's why I'm in the gym. So I have these workout clothes on. Let's get down to it. The first thing that happens, there's 2 events that happen. And I touched on it yesterday in that they went to Sodom and Gomorrah out of the blue in the middle of a conversation. The representatives that are talking to Abraham turn to Sodom and Gomorrah and start talking about this wicked place. This wicked place. And I touched on the fact that when we hear Sodom and Gomorrah historically in the church, typically it's to talk about homosexuality. And that was happening. This would happen. This would have happened. But I think it's more to it, but this is the process of what happened. He turns to Sodom and Gomorrah, he and Abraham, or they and Abraham, begin to have this conversation about, will God save the city if there's so many people, if there's 50 people and there's 40 people in it, and go all the way down to 10 or what have you. Then 2 angels show up in the city. They show up at Lot's house. Lot was Abraham's nephew. And when they show up in the house, all the men of the city, and this is where we get the condemnation of homosexuality, or the judgment in this case, or so we think. But they show up in the house and they say, look, they tell Lot, let us in. We want to have sex with these men. The Bible says, the King James says, we want to know these men, but it's no like Adam knew his wife Eve. And they wanted to do the nasty with these men. They wanted them bad. I mean, they surrounded, they were lustful, they were inflamed. And so this is where we think it's limited to homosexuality. And I'm certainly not condoning it, homosexuality, but I don't think that's what the issue was here. For one thing, Jesus says, even if that is what it is, whatever it was with Sodom and Gomorrah, Jesus later says, woe be unto you who don't believe me. And I'll paraphrase, but the scripture will verify. He says, better was Sodom and Gomorrah for those of you who don't believe. So whatever happened in Sodom and Gomorrah, not believing me is worse. So let's just get that straight. The second thing is, if you study the text and do an investigation of the text, if you do the fingerprinting of the text, my dear detectives, you'll understand that when they came to the door, Lot came outside, and he was a man. Not only that, but when he got ready to warn his sons-in-laws, who incidentally, just let you know what kind of town this was, they were married to his daughters, but they had never had sex with them. Red flag, bingo. But they too were men. So if it was just limited to homosexuality, then they would have taken Lot or his sons-in-laws, right? It clearly said Lot was outside of the house, so where they had pressed up against him, and the angels had to snatch him back in, not because they were after a man, they were after these angels, these representatives of God, which lets me know that it wasn't just homosexuality that they were inflamed over. They wanted not just men, they wanted God's men. See, there's a special trophy that goes up when people can get over on God's people. Men will tell you some of the freakiest girls is in the church. This is the locker room talk, as our dear president referred to. That there's a certain braggadociousness when somebody can get a hold of somebody who is anointed or supposed to be a church person, when they can get you to smoke weed with them, when they can get you to drink with them. And I'm not saying there's something wrong with drinking, but it'll be a trophy on a lot of people's cases, so they can say, oh, there's nothing to her. We freaked her down. And so this was the wickedness of Sodom and Gomorrah, that they weren't just after sex, they weren't just after men, they were after God's anointed. And the indictment is, God says, don't touch my anointed or do my prophet any harm. You can do it, you can get away with it, but do understand that when you touch God's anointed, I don't care if it's his furniture. They stole cups, Nebuchadnezzar did. They did all kinds of, if it's God's, he said, if it's my radio, don't change the dial on it, because it's mine. God will go training day, Denzel on you. 24-hour lockdown, shoe patrol. You ain't got nothing on him. He'll have you playing basketball in Pelican Bay when he gets through with you. He says, if it's mine, don't touch it. He is the police. I'm King Kong. Yeah. So this was the wickedness of Sodom and Gomorrah, is that they were touching God's stuff. And if that wasn't bad enough, if it didn't get vile with this wretchedness, Lot and his daughters and his wife got away. They left the city. The son-in-laws thought they were kidding around. And the wife looked back, so she turned into a pillar of salt. And the lesson here is you got to keep it moving. When God moves, you got to move. If you got fired, God's got another job. You can't spend too much time crying over this one when God's got something next. She turned into a pillar of salt because she tried to turn what was supposed to be a movement into a monument. And many of us we build where we're supposed to pass through. And so at any rate, Lot is left with his two daughters, no sons to carry on the lineage. And the daughters come up with this crazy idea that they can sleep with their father. If Sodom and Gomorrah wasn't bad enough, you talking about some R. Kelly stuff. This is worse. Their father was drunk. They got him drunk. Worse than Bill Cosby, right? This is the lowest of the low, Sodom and Gomorrah. Now remember, we're talking about Sarah's secret workout. And I'm teaching you something. I think I'll have to finish this another day tomorrow. I don't want to give you too much. I want to really focus on this. But if you can remember, we started this with Sarah's secret workout. And we're talking about this vile, wicked, incestual story that immediately follows the great news of Sarah getting pregnant when she laughed. And so, which suggests to me that God not only kept her from getting pregnant, her first 90 years of living, but he was also the reason she did get pregnant when she did, which means that God has the ability to open and close wombs. So if he was going to close a womb, you would think he would close this womb with Lot and his two daughters, because both of them got him drunk and he ended up getting both of them pregnant. They're trying to do the right thing the completely wrong way. But they got pregnant. Can you imagine the revelation, the light bulb going off when Sarah is at home watching Stone Age Netflix on her hieroglyphics on the wall, because they had to, chisel the Netflix, and she's watching the cow and she gets the phone call that these vile, incestual, wretched, unbelievable, from these gays and these wicked from this, God, they got what? They got pregnant. That's what it's like when God is trying to bless you and you won't receive the blessing. You don't have enough strength. He will take something so much less than you. Ooh. So you don't think you can start the company because you don't have the right degree? God will snatch somebody up with a GED, take them through his secret workout program, raise them up, and show you what you denied that he told you you can have because you weren't strong enough to believe. So part of God's strengthening program, I'm talking about your inner strength, your faith strength, is that he will take the weaker things to confound the wise. That he will take somebody less than you and allow them to do what you didn't think you could do even with him. Can you imagine Sarah? You know, because this was their auntie. So who do you think they took to babysit? And there she is, nursing them. At 9 months, here they are. 3 months left in her little year. And here she is taking them to Six Flags, 6 Stones. And here she is changing their diaper. Because, you know, it was a mess at first, but after a while, people get used to the mess, and you still got to raise the kids. And here she is, got to look at them in the strollers. And here you are, got to look at him with his new car and starting the business. And what you said couldn't happen, God made it happen through somebody else. I wonder what that'll make you do, or make you think, or make you feel when you see that God chose something less than you to bless instead of you. That'll wake you up. We're going to wrap it up tomorrow. I'm going to go into day 3. We're going to wrap up Sarah's secret workout. There's one more event that happened. My goodness, these babies. Look. We're going to talk about how Sarah gained strength to conceive. I'll see you tomorrow. Bible Forensics.